Welcome everybody to Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. It's been 20 years since Final Fantasy VIII initially released, and over those years I actually have never stopped playing Final Fantasy VIII. I'm playing it originally on the PS1, of course, but on the PS3 and then the PlayStation Vita, I downloaded it as a PS1 classic. On the Vita, it looks very nice. The screen is very nice, and it's convenient to play on a mobile device. So I never actually downloaded it on the Steam version. From what I understand, the Steam version also has upgraded character models, and that is essentially what we're getting here with the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster. A fresh coat of paint on an old game, which I'm happy for. Mostly happy to get in and earn some of these trophies to finally have something to show for all the years that I've been playing this game. We're going to start today. I'm not sure how far the series is going to go per chapter. We'll just see what a good time to stop is. I'll be doing everything from memory, so if I forget something, bear with me. I'm sure we'll get back to it, or we'll figure out a way to get whatever I might miss. This isn't going to be a 100% playthrough, so I'm not going to find every single item in the game or try to get 100 of every item. We're just going to earn these trophies and play through the main game, of course, do all the side quests and such. Also, since this game has been out for 20 years, it's been difficult for me to change my habits. The way that I say some of the names, for instance, or some of the location names may not be the same way that you say them, so just bear with me. Of course, leave anything in the comments, and I'll do my best to try to break those habits. So let's jump in and see what we're looking at. All right. Looks like we got a couple of bonuses. L3 and R3 to do no random battles. I guess that could be convenient, but I don't think we'll do that. L3 is 3 times speed. That'll be convenient for doing a little bit of grinding. We're not going to do too much in this game for as far as grinding goes, just a little bit in the initial to gain a couple of abilities. And looks like everything's pretty much how we remember it. Battle boosts, we won't be using battle boosts either, but let's get to it. I remember seeing that cutscene for the first time back as a kid, being blown away by it. Still holds up, I think. Dr. Katawaki, how are we feeling? Yeah, we're fine. I'll stick with everybody's original names. I know that I believe Squall was initially going to be named Skull prior to release, but it was changed to Squall. But we're going to keep Squall. Why don't you take it easy in training? Okay. The character models look pretty good, I suppose. Definitely an improvement, or definitely a change from the original. Even though there's no audio, I'll try not to talk over the cutscenes. They're still really good to look at. Hopefully we'll make it to the field exam in this playthrough, but we'll see. The dialogue boxes also look like they got an improvement. I wonder if there will be any changes in the menu that we can do. $1,600 hours. Looks like some of the characters that aren't moving are maybe part of the background or the background layer. Okay, even though Quistis needs to talk to us, what we're going to do first is actually just examine our control panel. We get our first two GFs, I believe Quetzalcoatl and Shiva, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there we go, Quetzalcoatl and Shiva. Now, we're not going to go through too many tutorials. I'll just explain what we need to as we go. And there we go. 2 trophies earned in the first 5 minutes of gameplay. Nice. I'll just get out of there. let's go see what Quistis has to say. Move, people. You haven't been to the fire cavern yet, have you? You won't be able to take part in today's seed exam if you don't pass the prerequisite. I was gonna go this morning, but in Cypher. Do you have a good excuse? How about the scar across his face? Alright, let's get going. See, she recommends that you take a look at your studies at the study panel, but, if that's not really much of a clue that you're going to get 2 GS by going there. But let's take a look at our menu. Oh, we're going to move the battle speed up. I will play on weight for now. We'll see how it goes. I just always played it on weight. I didn't even know that there was an active until after many playthroughs of the game, what it even meant. So I just always played it on weight, but if it turns out to be that it's too slow or, maybe it's just not working, we'll bump it over to active to make the game go a little quicker. Guardian Forces, oh, they look pretty good. Their graphics are very clear, they look good. I know it's a little early to be getting into this, but we are going to learn card and card mod first because they will help us tremendously. That way we don't have to grind and we'll be able to get quite a few items that way. We'll be playing a lot of cards in this game, or in this playthrough. Let's start with Ice Magic. Actually, no, we'll start with Boost for her, because we may use her in an upcoming fight. Then we'll go with the Ice Magic Refine. At least that's what I think the RF stands for. And we'll wait till we have more of a party to equip our GFs. I'm late. Yes, you are late. I guess we'll be nice. Everything that we're doing initially is actually being graded for our exam, our seed test. Every little thing affects that score. Now, I never get anything very good on the score because I tend to do a lot of other stuff. So my score is never really high. I don't really worry about it too much. It doesn't really affect too much of the gameplay, in my opinion. You can just do tests to raise your seed level. We'll do a tour, I suppose, in case there is anybody new. We can get a look at Garden here, School for Elites. We'll take the elevator to the first floor lobby, and I'll show you the directory. What do you gotta say? Hey, would you like to have these? My brother gave me these cards, but they're not really my thing. You can have them if you like. Or do you play a card game? I think it'd be best to look at the card game explanation, but we aren't going to do that. I'll just explain it as we go. If you want to play cards with someone, talk to them by pressing square, but keep in mind not everyone is a card player. I don't play, so don't bother. Let's take a look at what this guy gave us for free. Geezer, Fungar, Red Bat, Gala, Whisper. I'm not even gonna try to say that name. Caterpillar. So we got some level 1 cards to start out our deck. This will grow pretty fast. this is it. Balamb Garden is pretty big. It's a good idea to check where you want to go and select it here. I have a question. How do you use this? Well, it seems pretty obvious to me. Dormitory is where we can rest. Oh, and change clothes. Cafeteria, we'll spend a little bit of time there. Big rush for the hot dogs. Get used to waiting. Parking lot, pretty straightforward. Garden Festival is something that we will participate a little bit in. It's tied to one of the trophies in the game. I'll explain that whenever we come across our first timber maniacs along the way. Cover walk. classrooms are upstairs. Everything else is downstairs. On the third floor is the headmaster's office. You need permission to get in. Headmaster's name. Headmaster Sid. Those of you Final Fantasy fans may recognize the name Sid. So apparently there's more than one garden. Okay. These here are our save points. Back in the day we weren't allowed to just save everywhere we like. We had to go specifically to a save point. Oh good, we get more unused blocks than we previously got. There used to be only 15. So let's start here. I guess we can go ahead and just head out and see what Miss Quistis has for us today. I'll get used to using the analog stick. Oops, sorry about that. I'm trying to remember how to walk. Okay, these are draw points. Draw points are basically magic that you can stock. In Final Fantasy VIII, it's a little bit different. Magic functions more like an item. You have magic spells that you can use a certain number of times. For instance, if you draw 5 cure spells, then you can use cure 5 times. The thing about Final Fantasy VIII that's different from the others is having to use the GFs in order to pretty much do anything. So initially, your characters excuse me, only have one ability. You can see over here on the right under command is attack. There's no item, command, magic, or anything else. And we rely on guardian forces, or GFs, to equip our characters with different abilities. You can see here that Quetzalcoatl has some previously completed abilities and commands. Magic, GF, draw, and item are typically already complete for any GF that you get. And by equipping or junctioning Quetzalcoatl, you'll have these abilities available to you. So let's see what that looks like. Select Quetzalcoatl. And as we cancel out of the menu once we've equipped a GF, we by default get to go to the command menu and the ability menu. Now you see, because Quetzalcoatl had these command abilities, we're able to equip them now. I typically have always gone with draw, magic, GF. I very rarely use items in battle. Once in a while it may come up, but for now this is what we're going to stick with. We don't have any abilities yet. And we have no magic to junction to our stats. We'll get to that in a little while after we actually get some magic. So now if we take a look at Squall's status, he has attack, draw, magic, and GF as his command list. We'll do the same for Quistis when she joins the party, and then anybody else who's in our front lineup, we want to make sure that they have a GF, at least one GF junction. Now that Squall has the draw command, we can draw from its draw point, which happens to be cure. You get the option of whoever might be in your front lineup to draw from any given draw point. Now the number of spells that you draw, looks like Squall got 3. This is directly related to their magic stat. So jump back in here and take a look at Squall. His magic is currently 6. If we had another character that, say, had a higher magic stat, they may have gotten 4 or 5 spells. The same goes with drawing from enemies. Whoever has the highest magic stat is going to have the most success drawing. So if you notice that your character, maybe 1 or 2 of them aren't drawing as high as another character, check their magic stats. That will help you going forward. Let's go meet up with Quistis. A few things to explain before we head off. GF gives us strength. The stronger the GF, the stronger we become. Now, we're not going to go through this because I just explained how to junction a GF. So, once you get into any tutorial, if you don't want to view it, just hit cancel at the first screen. If you accidentally confirm, you have to go through the entire tutorial. Everything okay up to now. You can always check back by accessing the tutorial from the menu. Once we get to the firing cavern, I'll explain how to junction magic. Well, I'll explain it before we get there, but ready to go. Before we go anywhere, we're gonna make sure that Quistis has a GF as well. For Shiva for now. Magic GF. I don't have any abilities for Shiva yet either. Alright, our first view out on the world map. Oops, there is no select button. I wonder how we bring up. Oh, found it. Guess we use the mouse pad to bring up our map. That is our goal right over there, the fire cavern. But before we get in there, we're gonna draw some magic and fight some enemies. We're gonna fight around on the grass for a little while before we get into that forest. Now, if you stick to the road, you won't encounter any random battles. Since we're looking for some, we'll go ahead and hang out here. So we're going to draw from our first enemy here. Because we have drawn Cure in the past, it does show up in our menu or in our options from the enemy. Whatever is a question mark, obviously we just haven't gotten it. So we're going to go ahead and get her a couple Cure just to make sure that we're able to cure if we need to. Now you do have a choice whenever you draw. You can either cast it directly or you can choose to stock it for later. Stocking, of course, it just compiles. Once you have 100 of them, stock will no longer be an option. You can only cast. It's a good idea to keep a healthy stock of pretty much everything. How it affects your junctioning areas. Let's see what these question marks are. 8 blizzards. 3 scans. I need to remember to set my cursor to memory. I forgot to do that. Well, not the big number, 7. Alright, let's get how we draw. Once more each. We'll get a couple scans too. Scan is just what it sounds like. Basically lets you scan the enemy to see their weaknesses and their current HP, that sort of thing. Let's just go ahead and cast one, see what it looks like. So this enemy is called a Glacial Eye, a floating monster that uses ice magic. When running low on HP, uses Vampire to suck HP from opponents. See on the bottom left, it's kind of cycling through stats 239 HP, it's flying monster. It should show its weaknesses. Yep, right there. Weak versus water. That might be fire, I guess. Has no effect. Ice. We can use the joystick to kind of move around and look at it however we want. Alright, let's take a look at this guy. Squall has a unique weapon. It's called a gun blade, and every time he attacks, you have an option to press R1 right as the blow lands, and he pulls the trigger, essentially causing more damage. Because of that mechanic, actually, Squall, I don't believe he can ever miss. Even whenever he has a status like Darkness. Darkness for Squall just eliminates your ability to use the trigger. You still land the blow. And you can actually see that reflected in his stats as well. See, Quistis has a hit percentage of 103%, whereas Squall's is maxed at 255%. Okay, now we have a little bit of magic. Let's jump back into our junction menu here. These are obviously your base stats, so you can see that has everything: HP, strength, vitality, magic, spirit, speed, evasion, hit, and luck. And what's different about Final Fantasy VIII is that you use magic to modify or to enhance your abilities. So by going to the magic junction, we can select whatever stat we may want to use. Obviously, the only one that we can junction magic to right now is spirit. Going left and right, this is our elemental attack and elemental defense. And going to the left one more time is our status attack and status defense. Let's jump in here to spirit. And cure doesn't seem like it has any effect. Neither does blizzard, neither does scan. That's specifically because the type of magic we have isn't conducive to spirit, or at least the amount of magic we have. Taking a look at Squall with his magic ability, Blizzard raises it from a 6 to an 8, while Cure and Scan do nothing, at least only having 6 and 3 of them. So we can throw Blizzard onto his magic and it raises it up to 8. Now every time we use Blizzard, let's say we cast 6 of them and bring it down to an even 20, his magic stat would then be reflected. It would go down based on whatever the equivalent of 20 is versus 26. So the more, if we were to say stockpile blizzards up until we had 100, that magic stat would increase exponentially also. And that's a basic idea of Magic Junction. As we get into statuses and elements, I'll explain as we go. Our GFs, they also get stuff in battle, including experience. But what is, I think, more important is their the AP that they learn. You can see down there on the bottom that Quasicado is learning something called Card. It has 1 out of 40. At the end of the battle, we received 1 AP for defeating that Glacial Eye. And after we reach 40 AP for Quasicado, Card will then be available to us, and then we can select something else. So we always want to make sure that our GFs are learning something, and I think it's best to jump in and select what you want first. The game by default will start with Summon Magic 10%, and once you unlock Summon Magic 10%, it will lead to something like Summon Magic 20% and to 30%, and so on. Same thing with the GF HP. Some things do not unlock or do not lead to anything, like for instance the HP Junction. By learning that, it may or may not give us something else to learn. So I tend to learn just about everything else first before getting into the Summon Magic and GF HP. The GFs I don't use too much in battle, once in a while if it's something specific, but I tend to focus on the abilities that they can give us, and that's what we'll be doing for this playthrough. Boost is unique that if a GF has an attack, for instance. Shiva and Closer Caller are both attacking GFs. They physically attack or use magic to attack your enemies. You can boost the damage by hiding the battle menu while their summon animation is going and pressing square. I'll give you an example of that once we learn boost, and it adds pretty significant damage rather than just the base damage that is dealt. So that's a good one to learn also, and plus it's only 10, so it's pretty quick to learn. We're going to do a little bit more fighting. We're going to get a little bit more magic, and then we'll head over to see what the Fire Cavern is all about. We'll see what these things have. Blizzard, oh, since he has that equipped. Let's see what this question mark is. Sleep. Okay. Let's actually grab some more. Here we go. Cursor off. Try out the 3x speed. These guys have a little bit of HP. Since Squall's the heavy hitter, we'll have him attack. Yes. Scan. See what it looks like. That's to talk good. I don't know how to say this. Fish that swims in the ground, only within 20 seen. One theory says that it may be a shark. Of course, it doesn't tell us how much HP it has. Well, there used to be a rumble feature. Let's see. By pressing the pause or options button, that's the help window. So whatever you have highlighted, it tells you about, obviously. The name of the enemy and such. You know what? Actually, I want to change our menu up also. I prefer to have a full menu versus just the cursor. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to select the enemy that you want specifically. So we have to change that. Okay, so I guess I should go over this also. You can see our current experience, what we need to get to the next level, and what we required for that battle. You can see that Squall actually gained a little bit more experience than Quistis, and that's because he delivered the final blow. Whoever delivers a final blow gets a little bit of a bump. Obviously, you can see it's not much, but it is a little bit. And we receive 2 fish fins. Nice. GFs receive 6 AP. Cool. That means each one of those is for 3 each. That's nice. Let's make those changes now. Config. Alright. Cursor, memory. I'll have to figure out how to change our battle menu. Thought it was here, but I guess we'll figure it out. Let's see here. Take a look around. This is a town that we'll be visiting at some point. We're not going to head there yet. I think we've gotten that. Something new. Let's see what it has now. Squall, you still remember the R1 is the trigger. Forward as you strike. Same for Renzo Kukin. That was what I was talking about earlier with Squall's attack. Oh, man. Let's drop from that. Some of the elements. We'll have to take a look at Squall's stats. Also know that we've gotten some more Blizzard magic. We'll have to see if his magic stat went up. There we go. Okay, so L1 allows you to have a menu receive Mercer's bite bug as a target by pressing L1. Now it's just a cursor there. So if I want to select whatever other enemy might have been there, it would just be in the list. You can see I can also get over the Quistis and Squall that way, so we can do stone piece, a stone with little magic power. And we're actually going to throw in a save right here because we're going to go into this forest and there's actually an enemy in there that can clean you out pretty well. For those of you that might have played Final Fantasy 12, you know, the first time you come across the dinosaur out on the plains, it just trashes you. You're not expecting it. It could be a quick game over at the start. Let's try this 3 times speed. Let's see. Oh. I'm missing his attack. That's pretty cool. That'd be convenient. As a kid, whenever I wanted to draw any significant amount of magic, I would literally put like a shoe on the controller and just let it draw until it got to 100. Especially at the beginning of the game, to get all 3 characters in battle, 100 like fire, fuel, and ice. Guess we won't have to wait to pass this playthrough. Okay. Alright, Shiva Learn Boost. Let's jump in here. And you see now that we learned to boost, the game just kind of defaulted back to Summon Magic plus 10%. Let's now give ourselves a decent startup. Let's go with this one here, the Strength Junction. Strength Junction is going to allow us to junction Magic to the Strength Command, which is grayed out now. You can see, I also wanted to check that Magic stat. You can see now it's 11. I don't know exactly how much. What is it? Oh, it looks like he has 53 now. So you can see that by obtaining more Blizzard, that stat will increase. Alright, let's get into this forest. Come on. There we go. And hopefully we don't get taken care of. Nah, we can handle these guys. I do want to see what this guy has for us. Oh, cute. You can see here that Squall is stocking more magic than Quistis, and that's because his magic stat is higher. Well, at least it was for the last one. Of course, now that I say she gets a beat. Always seems to be the way. Thunder. This might be a good time to see Quasicotl in action. We haven't gotten to see GF summon yet. Getting thunder from that caterpillar thing. I'm curious if Quasicotl is going to heal him, or if Quasicotl is lightning based. Thunder based. Oops, thought Quistis had that. Now you notice when I do summon Quasicotl, you'll see that Squall's active time bar is going to change. That'll be Quasicotl's countdown. You see Quasicotl also has 300 HP. So while the Quasicotl timer is running out, any attack that is focused on Squall, Quasicotl will absorb instead. And if Quasicotl's HP reaches 0, obviously that she won't be available to for summoning anymore until we revive the GF. You can see Quasicotl there now, the timer. You can still perform actions like with Quistis and such. Let's see this in action. I remember seeing the summons in Final Fantasy VIII versus the summons from Final Fantasy VII in the previous games and being blown away by how much better they look. They still hold up, in my opinion, too. Spiderweb. Quistis can learn Blue Magic Ultra Waves. Quistis is unique in her Limit Break. You can teach her things kind of like enemy attacks or enemy skills. Enemy skill from Final Fantasy VII or from Final Fantasy X, Kimahri's Lancet ability, kind of a similar idea. So once we have the item, we can use it on Quistis, and Quistis learns Ultra Waves. Let's see, Fish Fin. Even though it just says Fish's Fin, I can tell you what some of these do. Fish fin will increase the compatibility with a certain GF. I'm not exactly sure which one, so we'll wait to use that. You see here, on the right-hand side, we have compatibility with Squall and with Quistis. Squall is 600 and Quistis is 620. So Quistis would be able to summon Quetzalcoatl a little bit faster than Squall would be. I believe the maximum is 1,000, and when you have 1,000, the summoning is very quick. It's almost instantaneous, which is good. You know, you don't want your GFs to be taken out in battle. You can see that Quetzalcoatl's HP is now up to 400 because it went up a level, and he or she took 7 points of damage while being summoned, so she's down to 293 current HP. Guardian forces in this game also have levels, as you can see, and that affects their stats, their abilities, or their HP. I don't know for sure that they have any other hidden stats. I've never taken the time to try to learn, but it doesn't show anything. But getting their levels up does affect certain other GFs in different ways, and when we get them, I'll explain at the time. Let's see, how close are we to getting card? That's a good card, or good ability. I guess I got a little ways to go. Let's go ahead and head out. Alright, Quistis is going to teach us how to junction magic. I'm going to skip that tutorial, so I already went through it with you guys, so there's no need to listen to her. She basically says the same thing. When you draw a new magic, try experimenting with it when it comes. This is how you become stronger. We know that, Quistis. I could be teaching you. You know how to use your gunblade? I do, so we're going to skip that and I'll just explain as we go. I've already shown you to use R1, but his limit break also uses the R1 feature, and when the time comes, I'll show you that too. These guys are kind of ominous looking. Objective: to obtain a low-level GF, a seed member must support. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm his support. Instructor number 14, Quistis Treat. Okay, we have to select a time limit. Now, this is easily doable in 10 minutes, but because I'm walking through with you guys, I'll select 20 just in case. This also affects your seed ranking in the once you complete your exam. The lower time, the better. And actually, the closer to 0 that you get to complete the mission, closest to time running out, that also affects your seed level in a positive way. But we're not really, again, going to focus too much on that this time. Let's do this thing. Plus, we do have that 3x speed, which would be kind of unfair, I think. My job is to support you in battle. Everything else is up to you. Boys often choke. Oh, okay. My try. I love this track. It's one of my favorites. Let's get on with it. Wasting time here, literally. I was just gonna say, we haven't had any battles yet. We got some bats here. Thunder and Squall, nothing really too great. Not gonna waste too much time since we're on the time limit. Bats are typically one-hit kills. There is a limit to how much magic one character can equip. You see that at the top of the magic menu there says page 1, page 2, and so on. 8 pages is the limit, and once you run out of space, you're unable to draw any new magic with that character. There is a workaround for it. When the time comes again, I'll show you. A bomb, an elemental monster. Use an ice attack for these guys. Check the monster's weakness with scan. That is a good tip. Nothing special. Defeated 44 base damage, and Blizzard does 321. Obvious difference there. Now, Squall's magic attack was more significant because it was magic stat attached to it. You can see the difference there was about 50 points. Those bombs make pretty decent cards at low levels, especially now, so before we move too far into the game, we'll be coming back to acquire some of them. Learn that card ability first. We got a Vampire Fame. Should be getting pretty close to that. Jeez. A lot of battles here. There we go, this is something new. Get a chance for first strike. Special. Couple poisons. Anything here probably won't be the enemies look pretty good so far, especially this one here. You can really see the detail on the goodness, thing was up there. That was kind of like... selected that 10-minute time limit, we'd be almost halfway done. And we've arrived. Guess I was right. You and Cypher are in a class of your own. You both have amazing strength and potential. Can't help but be badass. Okay, this is it. Are you ready? Born now. Ifrit. Let's have Cure. Let's go low. Let's see. 1000 HP. Weak against ice, obviously. Absorbs fire. Makes sense. Alright, let's do this thing. This will be an awesome time. I'm gonna put some sheet on it. He must have pretty decent defense. Alright, so here's that boost. Stop. his animation is kind of long, but I think this works too. 162. The big guns. More Shiva and some more ice. I was curious if it would show his HP, but it doesn't. 2 minutes left. If we had selected that 10-minute timer, I don't know, clear it in 2 minutes, but we'll try. Look, we would have done it. 53 seconds left. Often don't receive experience points for boss battles, but you do typically get more AP. We got Ifrit's card. That's cool. We're using that for sure. And see, we got 20 AP for that battle. So there it is. There's a Coddle learned card. That's what we needed. Some of the GFs, you do have to face in battle to obtain. Some of them you find through other ways, but our first GF that we obtain through any kind of trial is through battle. And actually there'll be quite a few battles with the GFs. I like the GF battles, they're pretty fun. Pretty cool to see them on the defense. There isn't much time, but let me go over this real quick. Good, you got yourself a GF. Could you imagine if we had to do that without a GF with all we had as attack? I don't know if we would have even made it this far. If you junction GF, that GF, you'll be able to use the element junction ability. Here's an explanation on elements. Well, long story short, I already explained this part to you, but we'll talk about elements specifically. Elements, there are 4. There's ice, water, lightning, and fire. Ice and fire are counter, just like lightning and water. So if something is a fire-based enemy, it'll likely be weak to ice, just like Ifrit was there. Shiva, on the other hand, would probably be weak to fire. With Quetzalcoatl being lightning-based, it would be weak versus water. And if we had a water-based GF, it would likely be, weak against lightning. We've already gone over junctioning to stats. What is represented here is not accurate. Obviously, we don't have HP or strength or dispel magic. This is just an example, but we've already gone over that, so I'm going to cancel her tutorial. There's a lot of fire elemental monsters here, so junction Blizzard to your element attack. You need your time with fire enemies. That is true. So we're going to do just that. First, we have to decide who we're going to give this GF to. Let's take a look and see what he has. So he has a strength junction, an elemental attack junction already learned, in our standard magic GF drawn item. He has a strength plus 20%, which is pretty cool. We'll be learning that, definitely. Boost and fire magic. Refine fire magic from an item. We'll be doing a lot of refining. That's why we won't spend too much time grinding much past learning their refined abilities, because we can just use items to get our magic quicker, and we'll be using it to get a hold of higher tier magic maybe a little earlier than we should. So with him, I say we'll go with Fire Magic Refined first, and then we'll hit the HP Junction, just because this one is only 30 and this one's 50. So let's do that. Based on him having strength and elemental attack, I'm going to give him to our lead attacker, which in this case would be Squall. So, Squall, give him Secret, and you can see that the strength stat is now illuminated. Over on the right hand side, there's a couple of icons. You can see that one lit up there, and it was the knife or attack on the right hand side. The two on the right represent elemental, and the two on the left represent status, so defense and attack accordingly. And now that we do have magic, once you cancel out of it, it goes to an auto, allows you to auto equip magic. You can do it based on attack, magic, or defense, which is strength, magic, and HP. It's a valuable tool, I guess I would say, early in the game, since you don't have a lot of options. But as you get more and more magic and you have more and more abilities, you'll find doing it manually is often better. So I'm actually going to do this manually also, just to show you. We aren't going to be using our GF as an attack for a while, so let's throw a card on there and show you what that looks like and what it does. And let's junction some magic. So 17 is our base strength, 18. Blizzard takes it to 22. Thunder takes it up to 19, and Fire to 21. Well, I do know that we're going to take Blizzard off. There we go, square, to just remove it. And we're going to come over to our elemental attack. This is where we're going to put Blizzard. It'll take care of a lot of the enemies in here. Now, for strength, I believe Fire was the next highest, 21. Yep. Magic, 9, 8. So now we can see what Squall's attack looks like on the way out. One last thing, since Quizzicaud learned card, change what she is going to learn next. This one here is the big one, is card mod. It's going to take a while to learn, so I'm going to equip it now. Card mod allows you to take the cards that you earn from playing Triple Triad and refine them into items, and that's a really good way to get items that you wouldn't get until later in the game, just by winning that enemy's card and then modifying it into an item, and then using these refine abilities to refine those items into magic spells that you wouldn't get until much later. Really easy way to pump up your stats early in the game. Avoids having to really level. Let's head out of here. There are a couple of those bombs I wanted to get. You see the card in action. Take a look at Squall's attack ability now. I'm not sure if he'll kill this in one hit because it is weak to ice. Let's take a look and see. 138. Pretty significant. Now you see we have the card ability here. The help just says turn monsters into cards. Basically, not any enemy, most enemies you can use this ability on. Now they do have to have some of their HP taken, and it reduces the chance of actually turning them into a card. So for instance, you can miss. The lower their HP, the higher chances of higher success rate. If you want to get a couple of these guys. I like them. Now, every enemy that you can turn into a card does have, similar to the rare drop rates, they have a rare card mod. So if I were to do that enough times, rather than getting a bomb card, we may get something else. I believe they turn into T-Rexars, if I'm not mistaken. So we could get a T-Rexar card instead of the bomb card. Couldn't find any items. We don't get experience for defeating them using the card, but we do still get the AP. And I'm not sure, I guess we'll have to find out if we still get items. I saw this, I thought it had filled. Drop points, once you use them, they're empty for a while. I don't know if it's a time-based or based on how far you travel, but eventually they do refill and you can use the same drop point. Dual cards aren't particularly worth anything. Oh, let's take a look at that bomb card actually. So each page represents a level. You can see up top it's level 1 monster cards on page 1. Page 2 would be level 2, so on. Bombs are level 4, and you can see that their numbers, the 3, 2, 6, and 7, and they have the element of fire, compared to something like the user, which has 1s and no elements at all. It looks like 6 is about the highest we get in these level 1 cards. Lots of 1s. See here we got a 6 and a 7. Once we get into a game, I'll explain what those numbers are. But I do want to get one more bomb card. I like to have 2 of them. With 2 bomb cards and the free card, we should be able to build our deck very quickly. His eyes are really blue. You can use restorative magic from the menu, as you can see we're doing here. Our item list, we still have our potions and such. G returners, what we won from the battle from Retreat, revives GF from KO. Like I said, that the GFs all have their own HP, so if one were to be KO'd, you can always sleep to restore them or use items. Just one more bomb to be on our way. I don't remember if there was another scene or not, so we're just gonna here for a minute. There we go. Squall, you hit it. Just stop something. He doesn't look 21 in a card hand. I don't want to kill it. Show This might be a good spot for us to throw a save in. Alright, let's head back to guard. Or fight something. We can get some cure off this guy, if I'm not mistaken. Back a guard. Well done, I know. Let's see. Thought there was something else I needed to go over with you before you take the seed exam. Oh yes, taking care of your GF. This is something you have to watch out for. We're not going to go through this tutorial as I pretty much already told you everything that you need to know, or that she explains, so. Change into your uniform and assemble in the first floor lobby. Alright, will do. Not right now, but we will. I think what might be a good option to end on is maybe doing a Triple Triad game. Throwing in a save, and then we'll call it quits for this session. And we'll pick back up where we left off in the next one. Now there is a couple of key players to play, and I'll go over this again at some point. This guy, this gentleman here at reception, he's a pretty decent card player. He doesn't have anything special, so we're not going to really mess with him too much, but he does have decent level cards. We don't really have a huge pull you up at this kid right here. That's the one that we really want to play first. That's running across. He has a pretty good card. Just in case I lose something, we're gonna throw in one more save. And we're gonna let's see if we can get him to reappear. He doesn't always appear, which might be easier to get him here. Or easier to catch him anyway. Oh, come on, you little brat. There we go. Okay, so by pressing square to talk to them rather than pressing X, you challenge them to a card game. If they are willing to play, you get this option here. Okay, welcome to Triple Triad. The rules here in Balamb Garden are usually just going to be open and trade rule 1. Open means you get to see your opponent's cards, and whoever wins, you can only win a single card. So we'll select 5 cards, I believe. They're always ordered weakest to strongest, so starting at the bottom. Ifrit is a really good card. I should have shown you that one. He has 9, 8, 6, and 2, and a fire element. Those bombs are second, and then so on and so forth. So we'll start with Ifrit. Grab our 2 bombs, and this guy. Okay. He didn't give me the special card I was looking for, but we're gonna go ahead and play anyways. The reason why I like these bomb cards, you can see that they have that 7 and 6 there. And what these numbers represent is the top, left, bottom, and right of the card. So the 2 represents the top, the 3 represents the left side, the 7 the right, and the 6 the bottom. Now by placing this card right up here in the corner, I'll have a 7 that'll be facing this square, and a 6 is facing this square. And my opponent would try to place a card that has a higher number than 7 or 6 directly to the side. You can see what he placed there was had a 2 touching down 7, so obviously he wasn't going to take or flip that card. Now, Free, he's got an 8 facing on his left side, so by placing Free on the top right portion, here it would flip this card, this Forbidden card. But Ifrit has a weak lower number 2, so just about any card that he were to place next would flip Ifrit. And based on his cards, I'm not sure that I can really take it back. So we're going to throw this guy right here for now. Let him play another card. There we go. This will be okay. I expect him to flip it somewhere, but it looks like we can pretty much take the rest of his cards. So you see the 4 was higher than the 3, so it flipped his card. Now he played a card that had a 3 on the left, and that beat my 2 on the right. So now I take his card. Obviously, Ifrit's 9 on top is going to kill his 5, and he has nothing but 2s on the right, so he won't be able to flip Ifrit, and his 5 and 6 on the top won't take my bomb card either. So that'll give us the advantage, and then we'll just play our last card. And because we won 6-4, we get to select a card that we want of his. And we earned a trophy. We're a card player. It looks good here. Doesn't really have anything spectacular. I was looking for something that had a strong left side. But we're going to need them all anyway, so we'll just start. Try to play him again. He has another card that I actually want. Some players have unique cards that you can only get from, a specific. I have to remember how to deselect a card. Anyway, some players, as you can see here, he has the Mog card. That's the one that I wanted specifically. Dang, I don't have anything other than this. Be free to take that. And then he will surely take it free. But I think we can handle it. That's why we throw a save out there. If you lose a unique card like the Mini Mog, or in this case, if I were to lose Ifrit to this player, the only way to get it back is to play this player again until he plays your card. And that's just a pain in the ass, so that's why we throw a save out there. Let's see. Oh, he's going to take that card again. That's what I thought. It's going to be tight. Actually, this will work. We should still come out on top. He's going to take my Caterpillar card, but he won't be able to take the Anaconda. So we're going to make it 6-4, money. That's what we wanted. And of course, we're going to take Mini Mog. He's a good card. You see he's got 9s. And you can also tell the level of card based on the border. You can see that Ifrit and Mini Mog have a gold border and an extra little decoration in the corner, whereas the other cards are silver. You'll see some even higher cards than Ifrit. There are some better cards out there that have even more decoration. That's an easy way to tell that you found a unique card is by its border. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today's session. We will pick up again, I guess right here, and get changed and head out. Go from there, we'll head out to our first, or to our test, see what kind of score we can get there, maybe play some more cards. I know that there is another card coming up that we're going to want to get, so we'll get that in the next session. In the meantime, leave any comments, let me know if there's anything specific you'd like for me to change, maybe to read out loud more or to read out loud less, whatever it might be, any and all Constructive criticism is welcome. In the meantime, have a good one.